My fiancée had once again spent the night drinking with her childhood friend returning home after dawn, and that was the final straw. I decided to break up with her. Everyone scoffed, assuming that once again would be the one to back down. That is until I started seeing someone else. Only then did she come to her senses, her eyes brimming with tears, begging me to come back, telling me she regretted everything. I back SLV explained this 100 times already. Luca is my childhood friend. We back SLV known each other since we were kids, and now he backs /S, one of my investors. What's the big deal with having a drink together? Why do you always have to be so paranoid? If I wanted to be with him, I would have been with him a long time ago. I wouldn't be with you. Anna Hurst, her eyes still hazy with drunkenness, wore an expression of pure irritation. I had been waiting for her to come home, sitting on the couch with a stern face. How many times had Anna stayed out all night? I was starting to lose count just having a drink. I opened the picture saved on my phone and threw it in front of her. The photo was sent to me at midnight by Luca on a messy bed. Anna Hurst was curled up against Luca, leaning on him in a clearly intimate posture. Along with the picture, Luca had sent a taunting message. As long as I want. She's my wife. He deleted it less than 30 seconds after sending it, but I was quick enough to grab a screenshot. Yeah, you two are childhood friends, and having a drink turned into spending the night in a hotel room together. Anna grabbed the phone, glanced at the photo, and her face immediately turned ashen. It seemed Luca hadn't been lying. The photo wasn't doctored either last night. Anna really had gone to a hotel with him. I swallowed my pain, fighting the disappointment that threatened to overwhelm me. So, at this point, you're still going to lie and say, there's nothing between you two. Seeing the look in my eyes, Anna finally stopped acting. Irritated, she sat down beside me, took my hand, and in a soft voice tried to explain I was drunk. Henry, Luca did know where I lived, so he took me to a hotel. He was just looking out for me, making sure nothing happened to me. We really didn't do anything. Look, I'm still wearing all my clothes in the photo. You were drunk, wouldn't let me come pick you up. And yet you went to a hotel with another man. Does that seem right to you? I cut off her weak explanation. Anna's beautiful face grew cold once more. So this whole time you've just been doubting me. If you really think I've been unfaithful, then there's no need for us to get married, is there? The moment the words left my mouth, Anna froze. A look of panic flashed across her face and she bit her lip. Henry, I didn't mean it like that, all right. Then Anna stared at me, stunned. She clearly couldn't believe what she was hearing. What did you say? I looked at her calmly. Let's just call it off. No wedding, we're breaking up. She was silent for 2 seconds. Then a familiar mocking smile appeared on her face. Are you serious? You're not going to regret it. Anna clearly didn't believe I was being serious. Maybe because I had threatened to break up so many times before, only to get back together again. She no longer took me seriously. I repeat myself, unwavering. Yeah, I'm serious. We're not getting married, we're breaking up. This wasn't the first time. Anna had used breaking up as a way to push me ever since 2 years ago, when her childhood friend Luca returned to invest in Anna's company. Our wedding date kept getting pushed further and further back. W fought about it countless times, and the word breakup had been thrown around more than once, but this time I was serious. Anna, however, clearly didn't see it that way. She smirked. Fine, if you want to break up, then break up. Why are you still here? I stood up and went into the bedroom, quickly dragging out a suitcase I packed at the moment I saw the photo Luca had sent me last night. Anna's face darkened as soon as she saw what I was doing. I walked up to her suitcase in hand and gazed at her pale, hungover face. I sighed. Your stomach's been acting up? You should drink less. I've already packed the hangover remedy ingredients in the kitchen cupboard. Don't forget to take them, and your usual supplements are enough. Anna interrupted me with a cold laugh. since you want to break up. What's with all this fake concern?" She stormed toward the door and flung it open, shouting, "I don't want to see you again. Go get out." I took a deep breath, pulled my suitcase past her, and looked at her one last time. "Anna, goodbye." The door slammed behind me, the sound echoing with enough force to show just how angry she was at the entrance of the complex. I ran into Luca. There was no doubt he had been the one to drop Anna off. He was sitting in a Maybach when he saw me walking out with a suitcase. He stepped out and blocked my path. His eyes gleamed with mockery. "Well, Henry finally got kicked out by Anna. Huh." I shot him a cold glance. Not in the mood to engage, but he insisted on stepping closer. Blocking my way, should have realized this earlier. A man like you, living off Anna, doesn't deserve her. I stopped walking and sneered. "Yeah, maybe I don't deserve her. But you and her? You two are a perfect match. I wish you both all the happiness in the world." I pushed past him and flagged down a taxi from the rearview mirror. I saw Luca spit in my direction, then quickly dash back into the complex. I let out a bitter chuckle. What a loyal childhood friend he must have been waiting here all along, just waiting for Anna and me to quarrel so he could swoop in and comfort her. Now the two of them seemed more in sync than ever, making me look like the petty, unreasonable fiancé. But there was a time when Anna never showed me that kind of impatience. I met Anna in college through our drama club. At the time she was playing the much-anticipated princess, and I was cast as the tree she leaned against. She had fallen from the high platform that day, and I had caught her breaking my arm in the process. Otherwise, I doubt someone as ordinary as me would have ever crossed paths with someone as exceptional as her during my recovery in the hospital. Anna often came to visit over time. We grew closer, and eventually we were together. Back then, Anna was still a playful, CSH little girl, a bit spoiled in the way only a princess could be. It's hard to connect that version of her with the ruthless, hard-hearted CEO. She is, now. When did the change begin? I suppose it started during our senior year, when Anna's father, Mr. Hurst, suddenly brought home a bastard son, Pete. It was the first time Anna faced a real blow. For the first time, she realized that as a daughter, she would never be considered the heir. In Mr. Hurst's eyes, the sense of crisis hit her like a tidal wave. She couldn't stand the thought of splitting her father's love, or worse, his inheritance, with anyone else. But at the family gathering, Pete was introduced proudly by Mr. Hurst to his business associates, standing at his side with full legitimacy. Anna, on the other hand, was relegated to the women's table, talking about trivial gossip with the other wives that night. She wore a custom-made gown and came straight to my dorm. She hugged me tightly like someone clinging to a lifeline after being thrown into the deep end. Her hot tears soaked through my shirt, leaving an imprint on my heart. That night, she cried and swore to me, "I won't let Pete take everything from me. He'll show my father that even though I'm a woman, I can make something of myself." From then on, Anna changed. She no longer lived for pleasure and began focusing on building her own business. But starting a business wasn't easy, especially since Anna's major had been music. It wasn't until she hit a series of setbacks that she realized her history performing at Vienna's Golden Hall with a cello didn't automatically guarantee success in the business world. Mr. Hurst scolded her for being reckless, trying to set her up with a well-matched man and arrange a marriage. Anna fought back, threatening to kill herself, demanding one final chance to pursue her own career. She and her father had a bet: if she didn't succeed, this time she would give up and agree to marry whoever he chose. So when Anna started her business, it wasn't just about proving herself. It was about securing her freedom. It was about fighting for the right to be with me. I can't deny that at that time, Anna loved me deeply. She fought with everything she had to make sure we had a future together, and I too threw myself into her business. There were times when I couldn't understand how we ended up here. We had the same goals, both of us striving for a stable future, trying to build something for each other. Yet, after 7 years of being together, our relationship was falling apart. Luca came back to the country sending me cryptic messages. At first, I was angry and jealous, but after a few arguments with Anna and seeing her indifferent expression, hearing her dismiss my concerns, it felt like a cold bucket of water had been poured over me. It wasn't so much Luca's presence that bothered me. It was Anna's attitude, the one that made me feel like I was no longer loved her. Indifference wasn't something new. Luca's appearance seemed to peel back the last veil that had covered the cracks in our relationship sitting in the back of the taxi watching the city rush. I suddenly felt a strange sense of release. They say the 7-year itch is inevitable. Every relationship goes through a phase of stagnation, after years of routine. Maybe Anna and our time together was simply over the day. I left Anna. I submitted my resignation. It wasn't really anything more than a formality at Novar Technologies, the company Anna and I had built from the ground up. I had long been sidelined when the HR director, Janet, received my resignation. She immediately called me Mr. Henry. "Have you discussed your resignation with Miss Anna?" Her voice was filled with surprise, as if she thought I was joking. I suppose that's understandable. Janet, a college classmate of Anna, had always believed I had ulterior motives. Over the years, she had often warned Anna to be cautious around me. I first learned about this during the company's 3rd year. That year, we secured a major investment. Excited, Anna rarely want to splurge. Decided to host a lavish company party after helping Anna fend off several rounds of drinks. I retreated to the lounge to rest. Anna came in to touch up her makeup, and Janet followed closely behind. Neither of them noticed me. They chatted casually as I sat on the sofa half asleep. Then I heard Janet mention my name. "Anna, you should really keep an eye on Henry. The people under him are only loyal to him. Not you," Anna dismissed it. "Henry is also a company owner. Why shouldn't they be loyal to him?" Janet insisted. "Yes, Henry is a co-founder, but you're still the big boss of this company." Anna just laughed it off and told Janet not to overthink it. She said, "Everyone in this world will betray me, but Henry won't." At the time, I was deeply touched, but I never imagined that just 2 years later my influence in the company would gradually be eroded until I was pushed into the background. I snapped back to the present when Janet's voice came through the phone again. "Go ahead and resign. Anna and I have broken up." There was a long pause on the other end. Finally, Janet asked cautiously, "Henry, you're not joking, are you? You're engaged. I've been waiting for your wedding." I chuckled coldly. In front of me, she'd act all cheerful, eager to see Anna and me get married, but behind the scenes she'd been pushing Anna to give me up. When Luca appeared, she even went out of her way to create opportunities for him to meet. "Anna, isn't this what you wanted all along? You can stop hiding it. Now, go ahead and play matchmaker for Anna and Luca." I had just hung up the phone with Janet when Anna immediately called me. I ignored it, only to receive several texts from her. Moments later, "Henry, are you serious? You're really quitting? Stop this nonsense right now, or it'll take you seriously if you're resigning on your own. Don't even think about any compensation you want. Get a dime from the company." I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. 7 years together. And she really thought I was someone who could be swayed by money, someone who could be controlled by wealth. "Do whatever you want, I don't care." My reply instantly silenced her. After that, Anna didn't call or message me again. I got my resignation processed, then turned around and joined Velic Technologies. Once I passed the probation period, the department threw a lavish welcome dinner at a high-end private kitchen. It was the very same place I had tried to book for Anna and me countless times, places she had agreed to, but then repeatedly stood me up. To my surprise, Anna was there. She had lost a little weight. She was sitting in a private room with Janet and a few of her close friends, while Luca, the only man in the group, sat among them. "Anna, Is it true that you broke up with Henry? He really just left without taking a dime. I couldn't help but stop in my tracks, tilting my head to peek inside. Anna's eyes darkened for a moment. Luca sighed from beside her. I've known Anna for a long time. Henry is always so suspicious, making Anna feel so much pressure. Maybe it's for the best that they broke up. Anna didn't respond, her face weary. Yeah, breaking up is better. Henry's family is nothing special if it weren't for Anna helping him start. Knock, I bet Mr. Hurst wouldn't even glance at him. Henry doesn't have much to show for himself. He's been relying on Anna for the past 2 years. A guy like that, Anna's, wasted 7 years of her youth on him. If they broke up, she should be asking him for compensation. Henry finally got to be with someone like Anna with her background, and now he's letting go if it were me. I'd let Anna ignore him for another month, head come crawling back, wagging his tail like a dog, begging for reconciliation. Everyone burst out laughing except for Anna and Janet. Janet seemed lost in thought as if she were somewhere else, and Anna, without a word, just kept drinking, one glass after another. Luca, looking somewhat concerned, kept watching her. I saw all of this and felt nothing. My heart was as still as water. I turned and walked away from their private room entrance, leaving them behind. My new colleagues were all incredibly warm. I had come in as the new director. I thought my colleagues in the department would hate me as the new director, but unexpectedly they actually welcomed me with all their heart. Finally, the RD director is here. Now I can get some rest. I'm really not cut out for an executive position. The one who said this was Nate, the department head, who had temporarily filled in as Veloc/SRD director. He looked visibly relieved, his expression sincere. Other colleagues chimed in teasingly. Oh, please, every time we had a meeting. Nate was practically trembling in front of the boss, but Henry, he's like a mountain unmoved, even when everything backs/S collapsing around him. We're counting on you. Now, Henry was brought here with a hefty salary. He was responsible for tech at Novar Velix, is definitely going to soar with him on board. Velix and Nor were in the same field. But while Knox struggled through countless setbacks, Velix had strong backing, and was rising rapidly. To be so flattered by my new colleagues, I couldn't help but feel a bit overwhelmed. The team culture here was completely different from what I had known at Novar. At Novar, I was a co-founder and also the CTO. The title sounded impressive, but most of the shares were in Anna's hands. She was the one truly running the company in the early days of our venture. We didn't quite align on how the company should be managed. I was focused on refining our products, making steady, calculated progress, and on the other hand was under pressure from her father Hurst. She wanted fast money and quick investments, so whatever product was hot on the market, she wanted to jump on it. We would argue endlessly about it. But what really drove a wedge between us was the project proposal meeting. 2 years ago, Anna had seen the boom in the smart home market and wanted the company to jump on the trend to grab a slice of the pie. But Novar had started out in warehouse logistics, diverting time and money into an entirely different industry. Felt like it would destroy everything we had built. As the head of the tech department, I was the first to oppose it, but Janet and the HR and finance teams were all on Anna's side. The meeting came to an abrupt end. After that, our arguments started spilling into private life. The worst time came when we fought in the office. Anna slammed the table and yelled at me without any regard for my dignity, pointing to the door and telling me to leave. Henry, don't think just because you manage the tech team you can challenge me. I'm the one putting up the money. I'm the CEO. I can hire 100 CTO better than you. But because you're my boyfriend, I gave you this position without me. You'd never have the qualifications to be CTO. The discord at the top level was visible to everyone, and that was a management blunder. What back SLS worse to punish me? Anna took Janet back SLS advice and started applying pressure on my department, through HR and finance, deliberately or not. One day, someone from my team would be sent for training, and the next I, back SLD, get a revised budget report demanding cuts for efficiency. During that period, many of my people left, and the atmosphere in the department became suffocating. The new hires quickly realized the situation and sided with Anna. Sometimes I'd overhear their murmurs in the break room or restroom. To be honest, the CTO has no real power. His advice is actually quite reasonable, but the boss just won't listen. His role as a partner is so suffocating, and /S, not easy for those of us working under him. He can't fight for our interests. It's still all about the boss' opinion. We're just here to earn a paycheck. The company values and culture don't concern us. The boss tells us what to do, and we do it. I think Henry's just too naive. How long can he keep up this enthusiasm? Yeah, my enthusiasm wouldn't last much longer under Anna's relentless pressure. I started doubting myself, wondering if I was really not cut out for the role. As my power was gradually diminished, I became nothing more than a figurehead, a marginal figure in the company, Anna relaunching projects. No one objected anymore. The company started pouring large sums of money into smart home product development, and Luca, back from abroad, solved their funding problems. He became Nor's largest investor to Anna. He was like a godsend, solving her immediate crisis. From that point on, Anna became even more impatient with me. That was when headhunters started reaching out to me, all looking to poach me for Felix, but I still hadn't fully given up on Anna, so I turned them all down. What I never expected was that Felix would keep pursuing me relentlessly for 2 more years. So, on the day I broke up with Anna, I chose to accept the offer from Felix. Looking back, it was the right choice. Nate raised his glass to me. Henry, from now on, I'm following you. He started it, and soon enough, many colleagues took turns pouring me drinks. I couldn't handle it anymore, so I surrendered, begged for mercy, and took a quick break to wash my face in the restroom. But when I came out, I accidentally bumped into someone. Sorry, I apologized and tried to leave, but I was stopped. Henry turning around, I realized it was Janet. She had grabbed the corner of my jacket, and when I turned, she quickly let go. I was a little confused and mildly annoyed. Perhaps my hostility had shown too clearly, as Janet's face turned red, and she stammered, "Henry, long time, no see ya. Are you eating here too? Did you see Anna?" I didn't want to waste time talking with her. I couldn't understand why Janet, who had always disliked me, was now taking the initiative to greet me. I simply nodded, intending to leave. But to my surprise, Janet stepped right into my path. "You saw it too, right? Anna's already with Luca." I interrupted her. "As you wished, Anna and I have broken up. Who she's with from now on is her business." There was no need to remind me about Anna and Lucas. Ambiguous relationship again. I tried to walk away, but Janet continued to block my way. Her eyes lit up as she spoke. "Right. You and Anna are over." So she was blocking me just to mock me, seeing my impatience. Janet/'s face softened into a cautious expression. "Henry, since you and Anna are over, could you be with me?" I stood there speechless. I thought maybe I had drunk too much and was hallucinating after all. How could Janet, who had always looked down on me, possibly confess her feelings when I didn't respond? She took a step closer, her scent faintly reaching me, alcohol and something else. Oh, so it wasn't me. It had too much to drink. It was her. I took 2 steps back to avoid her and said, "You're drunk." Forget what you just said, but Janet didn't let me leave. She quickly caught up and called after me. "Henry, I'm not drunk. I'm confessing to you for real. What do you think are you still thinking about, Anna? I'll tell you, she's already slept with Luca. Anna and Luca are childhood sweethearts, perfect for each other. You were just someone she played around with. Do you really think you could marry her? Give up. This world is realistic. Ordinary people should be with other ordinary people." I stopped in my tracks. What Janet said was laughable. Yes, my family was ordinary, so according to her logic, I should be with someone equally ordinary like her before I could respond. My arm was suddenly linked with someone else's. A faint fragrance filled the air. This lady here has a point, matches made in heaven. Does have some true truth, but you're ordinary and Henry isn't sorry. You're too late. I looked in surprise at the short-haired woman standing beside me. She was dressed in a high-end tailored suit, her makeup flawless, her aura commanding. Just as I opened my mouth to speak, she raised a hand to silence me and turned her head to face the confused Janet. "So, this lady, are you looking for my fiancé? What can I help you with?" the words. My fiancé instantly drained all the color from Janet's face under the sharp gaze of the woman beside me. Janet's lips trembled, but she didn't say anything more outrageous. She quickly covered her face and fled in embarrassment. I couldn't help but laugh, "Miss Becky. I guess I can't clear my name." Now, Janet would definitely tell Anna about this. Becky, the president of Velox, let go of my arm and winked at me. "Well, of course you're my fiancé now." The whole fiancé thing with Becky was really a case of being pushed into something. I had gone to Velox Technology for an interview, only to discover that the CEO was my high school classmate Becky. What was supposed to be a professional interview turned into a catch-up session back in the day. I was the top science student in school and Becky was second. She always said she'd beat me to become number one. But she never did, even in the college entrance exams now. After more than a decade, I had left Anna with nothing to my name, while Becky had already become a successful young entrepreneur. She was hailed by business media as a representative of the new generation of female power, young and accomplished, seeing her again. So suddenly, I couldn't help but feel a little ashamed under Anna's pressure. I had begun to seriously doubt my own abilities when I first saw Becky. I even wondered if she had only given me a job out of old-school friendship, but she told me not to underestimate myself. "Henry, I'm a businesswoman. I wouldn't give such an important position to someone without talent. Otherwise, why would I have hired headhunters to approach you for 2 years? It's because I recognize the value of the products you've created. I've studied your company's products in depth. You didn't focus enough on after-sale support, which led to poor market feedback. But that's an issue with project management, not your RD. I believe in your ability, and in my company it will be maximized." It had been a long time since anyone had given me such affirmation, and it truly moved me while we were still enjoying our conversation. Becky's powerful backing, her father. Mr. Morgan suddenly barged into the office he was shouting about. Becky needing to meet with a potential marriage partner, clearly annoyed. Becky grabbed me by the arm, giving me a subtle wink, and declared to Mr. Morgan that I was her boyfriend. And so I inexplicably became Becky's boyfriend, and before long I was upgraded to Fiancée Becky. And I laughed as we returned to the private room. When she arrived, the atmosphere of the dinner instantly peaked. Becky was a highly charismatic leader. She was serious and meticulous at work, yet very easygoing in private under her leadership. The entire company thrived in an atmosphere of busy energy. But without the tension, all the employees believed in her vision, which made Velox Technology a tightly knit team, united and harmonious. In contrast, Novar was the complete opposite. At least in the past 2 years, the apartments were completely fragmented, almost like a house of cards. After the meal, our group of colleagues left in high spirits. Just as we were about to head out, we coincidentally ran into Anna and Luca at the restaurant entrance. Unfortunately, we didn't just run into them. We interrupted Luca's public confession to Anna. Luca was on one knee, holding a bouquet of bright red roses, gazing at Anna with deep affection. "Anna, I came back specifically for you. Over the past 2 years, SLV watched you fight on your own, building your career. You back SLV come so far, and I admire you. I want to give you a shoulder to lean on. Be my girlfriend." Anna's friends cheered in unison. Say yes, say yes. Anna frowned slightly, her expression a mixture of surprise but no joy. She scanned the crowd in confusion, her gaze locking with mine for a brief moment. I saw a flash of disbelief, and then joy on her face, but it quickly turned into arrogance. She stood still, raising her chin, almost as if waiting for me to walk over. I calmly withdrew my gaze, walking past her with my colleagues who were surrounding me. Anna shouted after me in frustration, "Henry!" When she saw I wasn't paying her any attention, she quickly abandoned Luca and chased after me. "Henry, stop right there." I sighed and turned to face her. Anna rushed up to me. "Where have you been these past few days? You didn't even call. Do you know how hard it's been for me? I have to run the company while worrying about your safety. It's been exhausting." I was exhausted too. Did Anna really think that me ending things with her and moving out for 2 months was just me throwing a tantrum at the end of the day? She still took me for granted, thinking I would never actually break up with her. "Sure enough," she continued, "forget it. You back SLV been throwing your tantrums long enough at /S, time to calm down, move back in. Next month, I back L make some time. Let's pick a day to have our families meet and discuss our wedding plans." I glanced behind her at Luke, who had slowly stood up. His face was dark, and Anna's friends looked on. In surprise, Janet, hidden in the crowd, looked unreadable. "We've already broken up." Anna pressed her temples in frustration. "Stop making a scene. There's so much to do at the company. You know why I started this business. If it weren't for our future, I wouldn't be working this hard." "Henry, can't you understand?" "I'm exhausted," I interrupted Anna Lucas, a good guy. "Chike your equal, and Mr. Hurst likes him. You won't have to work this hard if you're with him." Her brow furrowed as she studied me closely, making sure I wasn't just acting out of spite. When she realized I wasn't, her face flushed with embarrassment and anger. "Henry, I'll give you one more chance. Take back what you just said, or—" She turned to look at Luca behind. Behind her, clenched her teeth and spat out, "Or it'll really be with Luca." "Wish you both a lifetime of happiness," I replied coolly. Anna's face turned pale for a moment, but she stubbornly bit her lip and looked at Luca. "I agree to be your girlfriend." Luca finally got what he wanted, but his expression didn't brighten much after all. It was clear to everyone that Anna was just trying to provoke me, but Luca still cared about Anna. He stepped forward and wrapped his arm around her shoulder, forcing a smile at me. "Henry, thank you. I'll take good care of Anna. I hope you find your own happiness as well." Anna deliberately leaned into LCA, looking at me provocatively. "Luca is so much better than you. Breaking up with you was the best decision. It'd only get better without you. But without me, you're nothing. Who says?" Just as Anna finished her provocative words, Becky appeared, a cold expression on her face, standing in front of me. "You're the one who doesn't deserve Henry's devotion. All these years." Anna's confident smirk vanished instantly when she saw Becky standing next to me. "Who are you?" Becky smiled faintly and leaned into me. "I'm Henry's fiancée." Anna suddenly understood, her teeth gritting in anger. "Henry, I was wondering why you suddenly broke up with me. Turns out you already found someone else. How dare you slander me and Luca? Shut up." Becky interrupted Anna sharply. "It's you who's been flirting with other men while having a boyfriend. It's you who used Henry's work to establish your position in the market and then kicked him out. It's you who brainwashed Henry into thinking he wasn't capable, took away his shares and turned him into a mere figurehead. Just admit it. You're the one who got bored with Henry first and moved on." Anna's face darkened. Becky's gaze swept over Anna's group of friends, and when she saw Janet, she paused, then sneered. "Speaking of which, I'm sure you had no problem sidelining Henry and stripping him of power after taking advice from your so-called good friend and loyal subordinate. How laughable Henry's been with you for 7 years, and you don't trust him, but you believe some people around you. Truly pathetic. Becky pulled out her phone, opened a video, and tossed it at Anna. Watch this carefully and see how your dear friend played you for a fool idiot. The sound from the phone played since you've broken up with Anna. Can I be with you? It was the same voice from earlier at the restaurant when Janet tried to confess to me. Janet was frozen, her entire body stiff as stone. Anna, who was staring at the video on her phone, was equally petrified. She also heard Janet's slanderous words in the background as the video ended. Anna turned to Janet in disbelief. You, Janet, meeting Anna /S Furious. Claire squeezed her eyes shut and decided to go down, fighting. Yes, I like Henry. What's wrong with that? Anna lunged at her, slapping her across the face. How dare you? Henry is my boyfriend. But you two broke up, didn't you? For the first time, Janet, who had always been meek in front of Anna, stood her ground. You broke up with him. Why can't I confess my feelings? Anna, pale with fury, growled, But you've been stirring trouble between us. You're the one who said Henry had too much power at the company and needed to be suppressed. You're the one. One who said the research and development team only listens to him and not to me. You're the one who said Henry's motives were selfish and that he was with me just to climb the social ladder. Janet sneered. Yes, I said all of that, but did I force you to do any of it? Anna, if you truly cared about Henry, you wouldn't have been swayed by me. Truth is, you've been thinking the same things yourself, haven't you? Anna was left speechless, her anger rising as she reached out to slap Janet again, but Luca stepped in to stop her. Anna, calm down. How can I calm down? I gave her my heart, and she went behind my back. Janet, listen carefully. You backs/re-fired. I was growing tired of their petty squabbles and fake drama, so I grabbed Becky's hand and walked away. The department colleagues had already discreetly left Becky, and I walked in silence for a while before I suddenly asked her, how did you know I was being suppressed and sidelined at Novar, and how do you know about the whole mess with Anna and Luca Becky? Usually straightforward, hesitated for a while. She couldn't bring herself to speak. Her pale ears gradually turned red under my gaze. You must have guessed it already, right? Do you still need me to say it? She huffed and pushed past me, walking ahead with quick strides. I stood still watching her retreating figure and couldn't help but smile when she had stepped forward to defend me and listed the grievances I suffered over the past few years. I had already guessed, so I quickly caught up with her. Wait up, Fiancée. It was rare for someone to be so careful in defending me if I pretended I didn't know that would be too cruel. After I sent Becky home, I unexpectedly saw Anna and Luca waiting downstairs at my current place. Anna was crying, and Luca unusually wasn't consoling her instead. He was nervously smoking nearby when I walked over. Luca looked up at me, the man who had always held his head high in front of me, now lowered it. His eyes bloodshot. Anna insisted on coming to find you. Henry, she's yours again. I give up this time. Damn it. What kind of pathetic drama were these two trying to act out here? I grabbed Luca, who was about to leave dejectedly, and ground my teeth. Take her away. Get her out of here. Anna looked up, her face full of grievance when she saw me like this. Henry, it's all my fault. I was misled by Janet. She's the one stirring trouble between us. Can we not break up? I apologize. It'll make it up to you. It'll give you Noah's shares. You can still be our CTO and co-founder. Please don't be with another woman. No, Anna. Stop. Shifting the blame onto others. Admit it. Our relationship has problems. Or else, how could you be so easily swayed by Janet? Anna bit her lip and said nothing, her tear-filled eyes fixed on me. I thought about this countless times over the past 2 years when I was sidelined. But the harsh reality I had to accept was that Anna didn't love me the way she used to. We had suffered from the 7-year itch. The passionate love we had in our youth had slowly faded after being worn down by reality. It wasn't just Luca between us, it was also our different ideologies. The pressure from Mr. Hurst and the skepticism from those around us. Maybe, over the past 2 years, my feelings for Anna had already faded, which made it easier for me to let go. You're just not used to it. Let's part on good terms. Anna refused to accept this reality that night in front of Luca. I laid everything out, but she still pretended not to understand and clung to me again. She even insisted that Becky was just a tool I had used to make her jealous. Anna showed up at my place almost every day, waiting for me. Henry, I know you want me to pay attention to you. I understand now how much it hurt you when I got close to Luca. It was my fault now. I know how it feels and I deserve this. But please don't give up on me. I was beyond frustrated. How can I pursue Becky openly when Anna is pestering me like this? I have someone I like now. I want to start a new chapter in my life. Anna, I've said it before. Let's part on good terms. If you keep doing this, I could ruin Noor just as easily as I helped build it as a co-founder. No one understood the company better than me. If Anna kept harassing me, I would seriously consider partnering with Novar as competitors. Anna understood the implication in my words. Her face twisted in conflict. The company still mattered most to her after I laid down the ultimatum. Anna reduced her harassment, but the messages still kept coming. However, things at Novari took a turn for the worse. Janet, who had been fired by Anna, held a grudge, as her trusted confidant Janet had access to many of the company's core documents after being let go. She sold those materials to competitors, causing several of Noir's projects to face sale. Anna, as CEO, was overwhelmed trying to clean up the mess throughout this. Luca stayed by her side, offering financial support and helping her out, eventually stabilizing the company. But Knock had taken a major hit. Revenues plummeted, and the investment firms slashed its valuation on top of that. Anna's stubborn pursuit of smart home products, though timely, had fallen behind the market, and it couldn't hold a foothold. Novar quickly fell off the tech startup rankings, even with Luca's financial backing. Noir's finances were in a dismal state. When Mr. Hurst found out, he scolded Anna harshly and ordered her to stop her antics and get married immediately. Anna finally decided to marry Luca the night before their wedding. She sent me a long message. It was full of reflections on her journey. She ended with Henry. I keep thinking about the past. If I hadn't been so stubborn, if I agreed with your vision, maybe Varix would have gone further and we could have stayed together just like we once promised. I didn't reply. I just blocked and deleted her in the end. I finally won Becky's heart, just as she had said at Velix Technology. My abilities were fully realized. Under our joint management, velocity grew rapidly and was on track to become an industry leader. As for Novar, it had long since gone bankrupt and was restructured, merging into a company under Lucas. Name, seeing the disappointment in my eyes, Anna finally dropped her impatient facade. She sat beside me, took my hand gently, and spoke softly. She hadn't been able to groan, Vic, or prove herself in front of Mr. Hurst. Instead, she had gradually retreated into the background, transforming from the powerful and commanding female CEO to the very figure she once despised. She had become Lucas' full-time wife 3 years later. I accompanied my wife, Becky, to a business forum themed her power. She was invited as a guest speaker to share her entrepreneurial story and inspire women in the workforce at the post-forum dinner. I saw Luca. He was holding a wine glass, mingling in the social circles network, and discussing business, looking full of vigor. Meanwhile, his wife Anna was gossiping and chatting with the other wives. After several years, she had gained weight and aged significantly. Her face no longer held the strong, stubborn determination from before, replaced by a mask of false compliments. It was said that later Mr. Hurst had written a will leaving her less than 10 of the shares, while the rest went to his illegitimate son Pete. She was furious, and caused a scene which led to Mr. Hurst suffering a stroke and being paralyzed, still lying in the hospital. To this day, Pete sees the opportunity, maneuvering his way to take even that small share from Anna. She had completely lost her support, now relying on Luca for her livelihood. But Luca and she seemed to be facing their own 7-year. The childhood friends who once shared deep affection now had had many women surrounding them. Becky, noticing me looking at Anna, quietly whispered in my ear, "She spent these years battling with mistresses. Her life has been miserable. You see, she was so afraid you, back SLD, take the company. But in the end, it still ended up in Luca's hands. Are you satisfied with how things turned out for her? What's the point of thinking about it? They're all just passers-by. I don't care." I smiled and ruffled Becky's hair. The past was long gone, and for me, taking care of the present and building my future life was what truly mattered.